There were a lot of times where I thought, who am I? There are people so much smarter than me. They've been in the industry for so many years. Here I am, like a rookie. Who am I to make a film, a feature film, not a short film, a feature film, right? For wide distribution. I had to remind myself that I have been that so very many times. That's where the biggest, most blissful experiences come from, is when I get past that fear, choosing to not give in to that, choosing the dream rather than the fear. Welcome to the Fun and Bliss Show.
Where fun is our practice.
And bliss is our lifestyle.
I'm Monique.
And I'm Moneeka.
This is a show to help you laugh louder,
dance more often,
savor the silly and sacred alike,
and turn fun into a blisscipline.
So we can live lives of more ease, love, prosperity, and joy.
Let's go!
Hi, I'm Monique, the Chief Fun Officer here at Fun and Bliss.
And I'm Moneeka, the Chief Bliss Officer here at Fun and Bliss. Welcome to the Fun and Bliss Show, where we explore what it looks like to make fun foundational. Choose bliss without waiting for life to become perfect and create a life that feels as good on the inside as it looks on the outside.
Yes. And today we're doing something a little different. And I'm so excited about it because today's guest is someone you already know and love. It's you, Moneeka.
I get to step into not being the co-host, but instead being the guest. I'm loving that.
Yes, that's right. And we're interviewing Moneeka because she did something big. She did something huge. She made a movie. And like a real live actual movie called A Christmas Rescue. And here's what I want you to hear. This was one of the most fun things she's ever done and one of the hardest. So those two things can happen at the same time.
Yep, that is so true. And that's really what this conversation is about.
Exactly. We're going to go behind the scenes into the courage it took to bring this vision to life. And listen, when I say courage, I don't mean one big dramatic moment, right? Some like standing on the cliff ready to leap. It's more, I mean, the small, brave choices that you need to make every single day when you have no idea how this is all going to work and you move forward anyway.
Yeah. And we talk about the mission that became the compass for the whole production and the three values that guided everything: commitment, joy, and grace.
Yeah, when Moneeka created this movie, she didn't just set out to make a movie, she set out to create an experience. She wanted every single person on that set, every actor, every crew member, every volunteer, every animal handler to leave feeling better than when they arrived. And that is a really different way to measure success from how most people do it. And I want you to really take that in.
Yeah. And the movie itself carries a big mission too, breaking the silence about infertility and miscarriage and inspiring real action for abandoned animals.
Yeah, and I know this is like this is gonna get really personal. There might be tears. We're still gonna have fun. But I think it's really important to have this conversation. And for anybody who's out there, if you have a dream that's tugging at you right now, whether that's a business, a book, a project, a brave conversation, then this episode is for you. Do not skip this one.
Yeah. And before we dive in, let's do what we always do.
Yes. What have you done for fun, Moneeka?
I'm writing another script. Surprise. So, and that's kind of been my answer for several shows. I'm writing this new script and I'm having so much fun. This probably, actually what's so interesting about writing a script is I am afraid of it. Like I don't think of myself as a scriptwriter. I'm an author. But script writing is a completely different skill. People go to college for this. They like spend their life, creating this craft and mastering this craft. And so it's really scary, but it is so much fun. I'm having so much fun doing it.
I love that. I love that.
And so what did you do? What did you do for fun today?
Okay, well, you might be listening to this. This will be broadcast a few weeks from when we've actually filmed it, but we're in the middle of World Cup season, and I have been having so much fun watching the World Cup and watching it with my family. Where, we've been going crazy, and I've never been as into the World Cup as I have been this year. I don't know why. Maybe it's because my family, my family's from Haiti, and Haiti was in the World Cup this year for the first time in my whole lifetime. It's been 52 years since they've been in the World Cup, and the fact that they were there got me in, and then I've just been obsessed. So I've been having a lot of fun with that. So that's what I've been doing for fun.
It's so
Um,
interesting, Monique, because I'm not into the World Cup either. I will admit, I've never watched it. And this year, we've watched so much of it. I wonder what the energy is around it this year. It's been so much fun.
yeah, maybe it's because it's in the US. It's like
Maybe.
maybe it's because it's actually happening here. Well, US,
Yeah.
Canada, and Mexico, but and
Hmm.
the US did better, and like I don't know, maybe it's like the whole continent is like infused with World Cup energy. I don't know, but it's
Yeah.
been really fun.
Yeah.
I've been so into it. And I'm really into our conversation that we're about to get into. I can't wait to hear more. I mean, I've been hearing bits and pieces of it throughout this journey. But you were gone for a month filming it, and I haven't gotten into the nitty-gritty, so I'm excited. And for all
Yay.
of you who are listening, take a deep breath, get ready to hear a really fun story about the making of a fun story. And Monica, welcome to the guest chair.
Yay. Thank you, Monique. So happy to be here.
I'm so happy to have you here. So, take us back to the beginning. What first pulled you toward creating a Christmas rescue? Why did you feel like this was a story you had to tell? Why do you believe it matters for women and audiences in general right now? Tell us the why, because you've never
You,
done anything like this before.
yeah. So it's a little bit of an embarrassing why to start with, but then it becomes its own thing. But so you know that I wrote the book Choose Bliss about 9 years ago. And over the years, as I've been sharing about Choose Bliss, several people have asked me if I wanted to make a movie about it. And like I said before, I do not feel like I'm a script writer. And so I hired a ghostwriter to write a script for Choose Bliss. And the very first one that I got back, it was horrible. It was so bad I cried. And then a few years later, I hired somebody else and gave me back something that I was like, oh, that's okay. But I'm not the kind of person that likes to produce okay. You know what I mean? And so I let that go. And then I had somebody else write a script, and it was so good, I cried. It was like,
Mm.
wow, this is so good.
You
And
cried for
so
good things this time.
I cried for good things. And so then I'm like, I gotta produce this, right? So I'm out there figuring it out. And one day, one of my mentors said to me, because I hired mentors. This is the thing. Anytime you want to make a dream come true, hire somebody that can get you there faster so you don't
Yeah,
lose your momentum. You don't lose your courage. You don't lose your momentum.
so
So I
smart.
hired somebody, and she was like, this is your masterpiece work. Do you want it to be your first work?
Mm.
And I was like, no, that doesn't make any sense to do it that way, right? So like then I started thinking about what is it that I could do that would be my practice movie, but that would still engage my spirit and my creativity and pull me in enough that I learn all the things that I need to learn. I was at lunch one day for Valentine's Day with a girlfriend of mine, and she was working on a Christmas movie, and she told me all about Christmas movies. She's like, they produce 750 to 1,000 Christmas movies every holiday season, and all the networks need them. So you should write a Christmas movie. That'll get you going in the right direction. It happens fast. Like a drama like Choose Bliss can take 10 years to produce. A Christmas movie, you can have it written in January and out released by December. So it could be a 1 year project for you. And I was like, oh my God, I'm all in. Well, in the meantime, a couple of years before, my little sister had written a short story about me and my dog Pomfret, and our story about my 14 miscarriages and how Pomfret and my husband, them together, saved my life. And I had thought, oh, that would make such a sweet Christmas movie, or actually a Christmas story. So I started writing it as a Christmas story. It was still really raw in my heart. So I had a hard time writing it. But now I'm like, oh, I could make it into a Christmas movie.
Mm.
And so I did. I started writing. I hired help because like I said, I'm a terrible script writer. I was on a mission and I wanted to happen fast. So I hired a ghostwriter. What they sent me back, the arc was beautiful. The writing was horrible. So I got to play with the writing and all. That's what I do well, right? Um, but they structured. The thing is that when you're going to visually see something, it has to be written differently than when you get all the context in the words in a book, right?
Yeah.
So that's what I needed the help with. So we did that, and then I wrote it, and then I started shopping it. And Monique, for a year, no bites. It was, it's the perfect Christmas movie. It is about a woman who can't have children, a dog who's been abandoned, and how they find each other and heal each other's hearts during the holidays.
Mm.
Like, I thought it was a total commercial, like everybody would be all about it, right? Well, of course, nobody was. I got no bites. Sent it to like maybe 1,000 producers. Nobody wanted it. And I was like, fine, I need to just do this. I did this because I want this done, right? Like, and I want it done fast. So after about a year of shopping it, I was like, I'm doing this year. So that was this year, 2026, or in January. And I hired a coach. So actually, take it back. It was 2025 August. And so then with this coach that I was already working with, I pivoted and I was like, let's do this film instead. And she was like, you're not going to get this done by the end of 2026. And I was like, watch me. You know, um, and she introduced me to one of her other students who happens to be a director. He's done a few Christmas movies. He actually did a movie about miscarriages, which I watched, which was so on point and so compassionate. Anyway, so I sent it to him, waited for 2 weeks for him to respond, like kind of with my, what do you say, with a lump in my throat. Like I was so scared because I wanted this so bad. And then he said yes. And we started working together after that. He did also say that he's not going to be able to get it done by the end of 2026. And I told him there was another reason why it was really important. My mom has been in and out of the hospital. You know this, Monique, and I think a lot of our listeners know too. My mom's been in and out of the hospital with heart problems, a lot. And so I just don't know how much longer she's going to be able to go to a theater
Yeah.
or even how much longer she's going to be around. And there's something about do something this special, you want your parents there. At least I do. So I wanted to make the movie in time that she could see it. And I feel like 2026 gives me that guarantee. There's no guarantees, but that gave me the best chance. So he said yes. Um, and so then we moved forward with that. So that was kind of the story of how it all came to be. Then it's become its own thing, right? Like the story is so sweet. I can't believe how raw I still am around that all that stuff happened 15 years ago. I certainly don't live in that sadness, but when we're writing about it and acting it out, it definitely comes up.
Wow. Incredible.
Yeah.
So let me ask you this. Before there was a set, a cast, a crew, a filming schedule, what did you imagine this experience would become?
I had no idea. I mean, I think I definitely stepped into this blind. I knew I had a story and I wanted to tell it. I wanted to tell it in this way. Um, but I had no idea what I was stepping into. Like, I just was like, universe, take me. I've got this dream. Just take me and let it be. But one thing I did know is I am very well practiced in all of my blissiflins and my bliss and fun practices. So I knew that whatever it was, I was going to make it fun. I was going to have bliss in the experience, but I
Mm,
just didn't even know what that was going to be. I had no context, right? So yeah, I
that's
didn't know.
awesome.
Yeah.
And I think that's an important point, right? So sometimes we're called by something and but we don't know what it's going to be, and that like takes courage.
Yeah.
Um, you've said that this has been one of the most funnest things that you've ever done and one of the hardest things that you've ever done. What made it so fun and what made it so hard?
Yeah. So the hard part is that I am a highly successful, high achieving woman who likes to be in control of everything. And here I am in this process that I have no context. I don't know what to expect. I seriously don't know what I'm doing. I am not the smartest person in the room. I'm never the smartest person in the room, but at least sometimes I can pretend. And here and here, like I literally was the rookie, right? It was my project and I was the rookie at the very bottom. I had no idea. Everything I said, I mean, so much of what I said, people would like look at me like, are you crazy? I mean, we we come from the real estate world where we talk a certain way, we react with our contractors a certain way, we do things a certain way. That's what I've been doing for 30 years. I'm an author, and most of those skills transferred. But the film industry is really its own animal. So my organizational skills transferred, but any level of control over people was not there because I had no authority and no credibility, right?
Mhm.
And so a lot of the hard was just, first of all, there's a huge learning curve in the millions of things that you need to do to create a film. Nobody has any idea. I mean, it's really, there's a lot going on. So that learning curve was really hard, but also really just moving in faith. I mean, it's been a long time that I've had to just trust without knowing what was going to happen, without being able to say what's really on my mind, understanding that people are going to push back because they think they know a lot more than I do, and they do. But I'm not as much of a rookie as they think. Like I'm not a person that has never run projects. You know what I mean? There was an awful lot of just trust me stuff that I had to very gently say, I do trust you and I want to learn. Please explain, you know? So just there's a huge learning curve and a huge amount of trust. The learning curve for me is a lot of fun. The trust is a big challenge. I mean, learning is a challenge, but it's a fun challenge. Just trusting blindly is something I just haven't had to do in a very long time. And so I think that's been the hardest part for me.
And what was the funnest? What made it fun?
Um, the learning was so fun. Like I just, oh my God, that's like my favorite thing to do. The writing, the creating, the project, like watching all the pieces come together as I was learning, the people that I've met, um, the dream, just having the dream and being able to work on the dream every single day is fun. You know, even on the hard days, it's fun.
So good. All right. When people hear the word courage, they may picture one big dramatic decision, but often courage is a series of small choices we make every day. So, what did courage actually look like for you during this project?
It was continuing to move forward. It's sort of like what you say. It's like making a decision every single day that I'm going to move forward. So there were a lot of times where I thought, who am I? Like, there are people so much smarter than me. They've been in the industry for so many years. Here I am, like a rookie. You know, I know nothing. I literally knew nothing. So who am I? Who am I to make a film, a feature film, not a short film, a feature film, right? For wide distribution. Who am I? And so there was an awful lot of that, who am I? Um, and I had to like remind myself that I have been that so very many times. Um, and that's where the biggest, most blissful experiences come from, is when I get past that fear and doubt and the questioning and the self-belittling that happens. Because
Mm.
nobody else, well, there were people that belittled me, but I did it more than anybody else. Um, you know, every single day, just choosing to not give in to that, choosing the dream rather than the fear.
That's so good. So what I love about this is not just the courage that it took in terms of making the movie and showing up for it, like you just shared, but also the courage to ask a bigger question, like about how do you how do we want to make this movie, right? Because the process matters, the energy matters, the way the people are experiencing uh, something matters. And I think that's going to bring me to my next question, which is about the mission that became the compass for the entire production. You said that when you were filming began, you realized that, quote, you were not just making a movie, you were creating an experience. We're not just making a movie, we're creating an experience. So tell us about that realization. What shifted inside you when you realized or believed you had a responsibility not just to the finished film, but to every person participating in the process.
Yeah, there's 2 points about that. So remind me if I forget to talk about Derek's input around that. But one of the things that I realized in the film industry is people are everybody's kind of running around scared, especially old Hollywood types. Like they don't want to share their contacts. They don't want to help. They don't want to engage unless they know you're going to be a success. That's kind of the culture of Hollywood. We also see that a little bit in the real estate world and for me in the author and the coaching world too. And one of the things that I have always done, no matter what it is that I'm doing, is said, this is the kind of business that I'm going to run. This is what I'm going to engage in. And these are the kinds of people that I'm going to work with. And if I decide to work with someone, I want them to understand that what I'm calling kind of a culture, right? Like, what really is bliss? Bliss isn't just a word. Bliss is a way of being. It's a way of running your business. It's a way of running your life. It's a way of who you are. So, for instance, if I have a coach that calls me and says, I've got COVID, but I made a commitment to you and I know that you're, blah, 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 and I want to be here for you. My thing might be, is this blissful for you to be coaching me while you've got COVID, right? And no, there it's not, right? So it's okay for you to choose bliss in this moment, right? So it's real, it's lived. Like I get it, you're trying to be respectful of me and my time, and thank you. And that's not a blissful choice for you, right? So not that I want people flaking on me, but honestly, we do have a right to live our blissful lives. And that's a lived experience. And I wanted a lived experience in my businesses, right? My tenants, my contractors, my publisher, my PR agent, everybody should experience bliss in working with me. And when they represent me, they should be sharing that culture with others. Moneeka will not tolerate certain things because I don't like drama and I don't like people being mean to each other. I just won't tolerate that in my world, right? So if that's who you are, you're not going to work with me. Well, that's a very, very different way of looking at things than most people look at things in Hollywood. In Hollywood, it's about the money. It's always funny. People say, Hollywood is black and white. No, Hollywood is green. It's really about the money, right? And so, and there's so much pressure around that. So, where is the room for bliss and joy and fun, right? And so I realized that, oh my gosh, I have been so intent in fitting in and trying to make this work that I lost track for a couple of weeks or a couple of months of who am I in this? And what does this experience need to be for me? And so far it had been super fun, but there were going to be, and there did end up being lots of challenges along the way. So who am I going to show up as in that? And so I rewrote my own personal mission statement around it. And then when I was going to go do the film, I wrote the mission statement for everybody involved in the project. And one of the things that I did is I was like, if people aren't going to do buy-in for this, they're probably not the people that we want acting or crewing on this. So then I sent this to Derek, and I kind of expected him to roll his eyes at it because it's all about Bliss, right?
And Derek is the
Um,
director, right?
Derek is the director, and he was like, wow, this is really good. We're going to share this with everybody involved in the project. And one of the things that Derek gave me, which is one became one of the purposes of the film, was he was like, every film that I do, I aspire for it to be so good that every single person that has worked on it is elevated.
Mm,
Well, that's how I work too, but I had never really heard it in that way. So that became part of the mission is to elevate every single person.
I have here part of this mission statement. Blissful Productions, such a perfect name. Blissful Productions creates emotionally powerful, purpose-driven stories that awaken joy, healing, and human connection. Through film and media, we illuminate the resilience of the human spirit and inspire audiences to rise, love deeply, and choose bliss no matter their circumstances. So, what was happening in your heart when you wrote those words?
I think that was just happening in my heart. Like this really, it's my story, but it's a story that can really help people and really inspire change in the world. And same with Choose Bliss. And I kind of realized I've actually got 4 scripts now that I'm working on. I kind of realized that that's really the way that I operate. That is what inspires me. That's what drives me. It has been since I was very young. I want to inspire people. I want to help them to see what's possible for themselves.
Mm, I love that. And you chose 3 values as the foundation for the production: commitment, joy, and grace. So let's unpack those. First, what did commitment look like on set?
Commitment is just the is first of all, well, it's not just anything, it's a lot of things, but it's the first and foremost the commitment to the mission. So, and the commitment to how you show up. So I think that was the single most important thing is that everybody is going to show up in a way that is blissful, right? And that encompasses the other two um, values. The other thing is to show up fully available for the movie. In other words, get your sleep, show up on time, right? Give us your very best self. Don't show up distracted. And people did. And then everybody kind of knew that that's not how we operate. And so they helped them to reground. I had to help several people reground. But everybody knew that what was expected was that they were fully committed to the project and the mission
Mm,
in the very best way. Because honestly, everybody has the most fun when they're really present.
yeah.
And so I wanted that for them, right? Like have the full experience, be fully present. So that was the commitment piece.
Mm. How about joy? How did you anchor that into the set, especially when some like people are tired? I know
Yeah,
the set days are long,
they are.
and things don't always go according to plan. So how did this value of joy
Yeah.
show up?
It's so interesting because the story is heart-wrenching. I mean, there was a lot of tears, like full-on breakdowns on set with tears. So I think emotions were already running high. And in a situation like that, it can just completely blow up. There can be all sorts of drama, there can be all sorts of emotional roller coasters. And I think because I had already stated that the intention was joy, most of the time we went from anytime there was an emotional outburst, it was in laughter. So rather than any kind of it was really interesting, right? Nobody lost their temper. Um, nobody, there was no like anger ever. Whenever there was an outburst, it was an outburst of laughter. And seriously, it screwed up many scenes. There were many times where we had to do another retake because everybody's laughing so hard. But that was the thing. And it was funny. Derek was like, I've never seen anything like this. Like people are so tired, and instead of being pissed off and complaining, they're laughing. And so I think they got it. Like this was supposed to be a really fun experience. And everybody bought in. It was amazing. But if I hadn't said that, It would have just been another set. Like everybody kind of knows how to deal with a set. And that was another thing. I'm a rookie, right? I didn't know what sets were like. But I did know what I wanted my set to be like,
Mm.
right? So, yeah.
Yeah. And how about grace? How did grace show up, especially if someone made a mistake or when you needed grace yourself?
Yeah, I needed grace plenty because I'm so young in the industry. Everybody else there knew more than I did. Every single person knew more than I did. Um, but there were a lot of times, right? Like I just said, we would like everybody would burst out laughing. We had to do another ta retake, and it's 2 o'clock in the morning. Like everybody's so tired, they're laughing. We're not able to focus. We're taking 15 takes for something that should have taken two, right? Um, so there were lots of things that went wrong. And I think what was beautiful was that everybody understood that I was there to help them. First of all, the executive producer is usually not on a set for a couple of reasons. The writer and the executive producer are usually not invited onto a set because the director wants control of the filming. And usually the writer has lots of opinions. He's not wrong. And so, and so it can be a big interference and really ruin the flow of any particular scene. I was told that and that was a big learning experience for me too, and also very hard to keep my mouth closed when I had ideas, right? Um, but there were a lot of times where where people were doing something and they would look to me as the executive producer of what's expected, and I would immediately offer grace. It's great. Let's do it again. Or that was beautiful. Or let go of the fear around that. Or whatever it was that was happening. So I modeled grace. Derek modeled grace. We're such a good partnership.
Mm.
So everybody modeled grace. There was one guy that was showing up late for every single set, and we were admittedly getting upset. But nobody, there was no like, oh, he's a diva. There was none of that. It was just like, okay, you shut up, we'll do it now. I was really impressed with the lack of drama on this set.
Mm.
And think about this. Drama is the business. But there was no real, a little bit
You just want drama on the screen, not
on
in
this
the
screen, not on the
set.
set. But these are
Yeah.
all drama queens and kings. Like this is what they do for a living, right? And there was none of that. There was just kindness. If someone fell, and it's true, if someone falls, everybody helps. But if you're busy doing something else, you may not notice. People really had each other's backs, and it was beautiful. It
Mm,
was really, really beautiful. Such a gorgeous flow.
I love that. You also said that you wanted every actor, crew member, volunteer, animal handler, and participant to leave the project feeling better than when they arrived, which is such a beautiful intention and a very different measure of success. So, how did you try to create that experience in practical, everyday ways?
Yeah, so all the ways that we were just talking about, I think the very first thing in any mission statement or any culture, when you're setting a culture, is to really model. Monique, you do this beautifully, and I think I do this beautifully. I'm really well practiced at it. And so the modeling of what things can look like helps people to see that it's really possible. And then for each of us to be participating in that on set, people at the end, I'm going to cry at the end at the wrap party said, I am just so inspired.
Mm,
This was so beautiful. I will never be on a set like this again, and I will never be the same actor again, or I will never be the same person again. That's what I wanted. And they actually said it. And actually, the person that owns the farm that we had all the animals in the location on, she's a big deal. She actually worked on Superman. That was the project she was doing just before me. She handled all the animals on Superman. So she
wow.
would have like 300 animals on a set at a time. She's a big deal.
Yeah.
And she's like, I've just never seen anybody with the heart that you have for the people that you're working with, the people that you want to experience this movie, and for the animals. Um, she says, when I read the script, I just cried. I wanted so badly to be a part of this.
No,
Um, so I think, we model what's possible for people, and that changes them.
I love that. So you said that your mission for this particular film was to do three things. One, break the silence around infertility and miscarriage. Two, drive real action for abandoned animals. And three, create something powerful enough to open doors for every person involved. Why were those three intentions in particular so important to you?
Um, First of all, I think women and families in every single culture go through this infertility thing. And in most cultures, if a woman can't have a child, she has no value. That's changing, especially here in the United States. It's changing. And so we think it's changing all over the world, but it's not. It is, but not as fast. And so a woman's value is really in so many places, whether she can have kids. And a family's value is whether they can bring up kids. And a man's value is whether he's going to have a legacy in the way of having children and carrying on the name. So I know those sound really traditional. And a lot of people, especially here in California, roll their eyes when I say that. But that's a real thing in most of the world. We're very special here that we have more choices or different choices. Um, but even for me, living in California, being in this culture, there was a lot of that. Like Moneeka, the it wasn't, you don't have to have kids. It was, if you can't have kids, you can adopt. Oh,
Mm,
if you can't have kids, you can surrogate. But there was all this like pressure, even on me, about having kids. Well, 14 miscarriages. It's not like I didn't give it a go. Like I tried really hard. There was a lot of money put into that, a lot of effort, a lot of emotion, and a lot of physical pain that went into that. And still, there couldn't be the grace to just say, maybe that's not for you. Maybe you do something different, you know? And I want women all over the world to understand that our cultural expectations or the cultural pressure or the family pressure does not need to diminish you, that we have choice. And maybe that choice has to just be I'm going to choose to be happy no matter what anybody else says, even as my husband that's judging me.
mhm.
We have choice. We have choice on whether we're going to be happy and what that's going to look like under all circumstance. So when I talk about this in my book and on our show, it's real. This
Yeah,
is not just verbiage. This is not just it. That's kind of a cool idea. I've had to make really hard choices about who I'm going to be in spite of the way the world looks at me, right? So I am not a woman who couldn't have children. I am an independent woman that wasn't able to have kids, and that's shaped me, but that's not who I am. That doesn't determine me. I determine me. Right. So I think that that message is really, really important. And it's not spoken about in this context.
yeah.
Right. I think this is a context where people are very hush hush about it. It means that there's something wrong with you. People would ask, this is really embarrassing, but people would ask Dave, is the equipment working? Should you get checked out? And he's like, what? Like there's something wrong with you because, right? Um, you as a person, not just the equipment, but there was the implications that there was something wrong with us as people.
Mm,
And then when we decided not to adopt or to surrogate, don't you guys have any heart? You guys are so selfish. Why don't you want to bring up children? I mean, there's all sorts of stuff around this. So the reason this is so important, sorry, that was a lot, but the reason this is so important is because I know from personal experience what women go through all over the world. And I want them to understand that they have choice. So that's really important. The piece about the animals, I have a heart for animals. My little guy saved my life. Um, Especially during COVID, people brought animals into their homes. And then when COVID ended and they had to go back to work, all these animals got abandoned. And it's no fault of their own. This is, in a way, a human failing. and I want us humans to pay attention to that, that we can be kind to animals and they give us so much in return. Like this isn't, and there's a line there's a whole monologue in the movie about we save them and they save us because they do. We aren't the same as humans without the animals around us. And I just think that people, I would love for them to really recognize that it's not just about saving the animals, it's about them saving us. And then the last part we already talked about is just this elevation of everybody.
So good. So good. So on this show, we talk about disciplines, right? Our habits, rituals, ways of being that help us to stay connected, to joy, to trust, to our aliveness. So what were your disciplines when you were making A Christmas Rescue?
My disciplines didn't change. They're kind of the ones that are in the book. So I had my morning routine that got me out of bed and got me jazzed up about the projects of the day. I would sit down and do all the things that I do in the morning to get myself like in the right space. And then I always had like my idea of what I wanted that day to look like. So I did all of those things that I normally do. I just did it with a focus on the movie. And then the additional ones that I had to really pay attention to was moving. I needed to make sure that I was doing more dancing. I was moving. I was walking more, which is hard to find time for when you're so engrossed in something. But I had to add those in because otherwise I wasn't going to be able to stay as creative. I wasn't going to stay as blissful. I was under a lot of stress, and movement really helps for me to release stress. Interestingly, even on the set, we would, might have been working a 14-hour day, right? I still had my morning routine. It was much shorter, but I still had the morning routine. And still, in between um, scenes, when they were switching around the room or whatever they would do, I would go for a walk around the farm. And
Mm,
it was so healing and it regrounded me and it allowed me in any moment to be more resourceful, more creative, and more present because that little walk, first of all, was the moving of my body, but also was also a farm. I got to see all these amazing animals and they were so much fun to experience. So those were some of the things that I did. Did a little bit more of the movement.
I love that. Okay, now it's time to share the fun and bliss spark, right? So
Yeah.
we're listening. Every week we try to give a little uh a little exercise that people can do to help them to experience a little more fun and bliss. So what is your fab spark suggestion for our audience today?
So all of us have a little dream that is percolating in our minds or our hearts, and we feel like it's not possible. And so this week, for their Fab Spark, I'd like you to just shine a light inside your heart and inside your mind and just remember what those are. Because the reality is that if you don't know what they are, you'll never be able to pursue them. And you still may never pursue them. And that's okay. But shine a light on the dreams because you know what? The dreams make life so blissful. And sometimes we forget what those are because we're so busy doing life. But
Mm,
we all have these dreams, and sometimes we let them go. So just shine a light and write down maybe three of those dreams that you've kind of let go of and see if they inspire anything in you.
okay, so write down three of your dreams and see what it inspires. Okay,
Yeah.
beautiful. All right, now it's time for our fun and bliss laser round and our fast, playful, completely overthinking free questions. So, ready?
Yeah.
All right, what's your go-to when you need an instant joy boost?
I'm petting my dog.
Hmm. Now, what's one thing that never fails to make you laugh?
My husband at dinner. He's so funny.
And what do you do for fun these days?
I write. I write a lot.
Write scripts?
Yeah, I write scripts.
All right, finish this sentence. Bliss for me looks like,
Just life. It's the way life is supposed to be.
love it. All right. Thank you so much. That was so good. I loved hearing about like the Christmas rescue and this is I've been listening about it for months, right? I've been part of this journey and hearing it from the outside, but we hadn't really gone that deep into your mission and the set and all of that stuff. So I loved hearing that and what a powerful experience it was for the people who were a part of that. And I know that once the audience gets to see that, and I can't wait to see the movie, it's going to be a really powerful, uplifting experience for the audience. So,
Thank you, Monique. Thanks for like this was your idea too. Just thank you for honoring me that way.
absolutely. I was like, this is going to be the best episode. I was like, we need to hear this, and I think for me, one of the biggest game changers is or the like a big takeaway, and I hope everyone gets this, is about like the courage that's needed to go after your dreams and the how that is just showing up every day.
Hmm.
And also the power of intention. And this is something that we've done in our Fun and Bliss, right? We created a mission, we have a manifesto, we start and it's everything is infused by that. But it's you were in like a there are so many people that are part of making a movie. They're really just three of us working on a purpose, working on Fun and Bliss, right? They're a
Yeah.
smaller like community, right? But having, there's gosh, I've been on film sets, there can be hundreds of people that are part of this experience and it's such a concentrated thing, but just to feel the power of that intentionality, the mission, and how uplifting it can be. So I loved all of that. Thank you.
Oh, thank you, Monique. And I also want people to really remember that, joy doesn't mean that things are always easy or even always happy, right? And grace doesn't mean that nothing goes wrong. And bliss doesn't mean avoiding experiences that stretch you or make you uncomfortable. It means choosing how you want to move through them. It's so interesting. This set, these are kind of like things that I talk about a lot. This set tested me. Like, could I really be that person? Is it really me? And it was just such a blessing to witness myself, but and also to witness everybody else having this experience, and really experiencing joy, grace, bliss, and all of those things.
I love that. And a reminder, your fab spark, your fun and bliss spark for this week is to shine a light on those dreams and write them down. I
And
know
see if
they're,
they inspire something.
and if they do, take a courageous step. I'm going to add that. Take a courageous
Yes.
step
Yes. Why
towards
not?
your
Right?
dreams. Yeah, like take it and have fun with it. And if you know, this conversation lit you up, then join us in the Fun and Bliss Collective. That's our community for women who are choosing more fun, who are choosing more joy, who are more aliveness, more permission in real life to live their dreams, but have fun with it. So join us. You can go to funandbliss.com and click on the link for the collective. We'd love to have you in the playground with us.
And of course, before we go, share this episode with another woman in your life who might have a dream she's been sitting on or who needs to hear this conversation about courage.
Yeah, you know who that is. So that whatever that the first name that came up, that friend with that idea, like that someday maybe she'll do it. I want you to send this to them right now. They will thank you.
Yeah. And thank you so much for sharing this time with us today on the Fun and Bliss Show.
Yes. And remember, fun is not extra, courage is not comfortable, and bliss gets to belong in your life, especially when you're creating something that matters. The world needs you to do that.
Yeah. Thank you. And we'll see you next time.
Bye-bye.
Bye.